The edgy kids who make up the DC Extended Universe's Suicide Squad are a far cry from the comics' original team of straight-laced heroes. While the original crew simply strove for the benefit of mankind, the modern squad's interests are generally a bit more unpredictable. Which is not to say that the Suicide Squad hasn't always been filled with a fair dose of crazy. Here's a look at the squad's weird history. Origins. Secret Origins number 14 reveals that Squadron S was where the Army put all of their crazier soldiers who would either get the job done or kill each other. The crew took the name Suicide Squad not because they were willing to die, but because most soldiers would rather kill themselves than join Squadron S. The dysfunctional team is headed up by Rick Flag Sr., and they're called into action to fight super threats after the Justice Society of America temporarily quits. Much later, Rick Flag Jr. takes over his dad's legacy after Rick Sr. kills himself fighting the war wheel while still in mourning for his deceased wife. Flag Jr.'s team first appears in 1959's The Brave and the Bold number 25. Colonel Rick Flag Jr., Karen Grace, Jess Bright, and Dr. Hugh Evans are all the last living members of their respective teams, all willing to die to save the world and uplift their lost friends' legacies. They're basically a crew powered by pure survivor's guilt. Even in their first appearance fighting a giant red-hot dinosaur, the squad makes it clear that they're a bit suicidal, but for all the right reasons. After about 50 issues, Bright and Evans are swallowed up in an icy crevasse while battling a Yeti. The team disbands and the two are assumed dead for years. Bright, however, survives by pulling a page right out of Star Wars and digging himself into the warm Yeti carcass. The Chinese government eventually finds him, removes his busted body parts, and uses their own super soldier program to rescue him so they can use his scientific genius. Bright, now angry and insane, goes on to create a terrorist supervillain team called the Jihad, who plague the squad for decades. After the team disbands and reforms, the Suicide Squad again becomes the repository for the unwanted. But instead of just really bad soldiers, Flag Jr. has to manage semi-reformed supervillains. The squad is a great place for DC Comics to put their stranger villains, digging up obscure comic history along the way. Harley Quinn. Dr. Harleen Quinzel entered DC Comics as an underqualified Arkham Asylum psychiatrist who falls under the Joker's gross spell. She became a fan-favorite villain pretty quickly, but most readers seem to just ignore the fact that the Joker has tried to kill Harley more times than her enemies ever have. Despite regular abuse, her infatuation with the clown prince of crime continued for about 2 decades, until her writers realized that depicting an abusive relationship as endearing wasn't really responsible. In Harley Quinn number 25, she beat the Joker to a pulp in his own prison cell, completely biting off his lower lip in the process, making it very hard for him to smile that winning grin. Deadshot. Floyd Lawton is an assassin with a heart of gold and a cyborg eye who embodies the spirit of the Suicide Squad better than any other member. He has no wish to live, refuses to commit suicide, and wants to die in an honorable way. Deadshot's strangest adventure is set off by an airport employee who steals his costume from his luggage and goes around killing innocent people, forcing the real Deadshot to, well, shoot him dead. Shooting a guy dressed as himself messes up Deadshot for a while, until he's possessed by a demon, tries to blow up some kids in an elementary school, and then tries to kill the Pope. Which is probably the worst thing a comic character has ever attempted. El Diablo. The name El Diablo has generally applied to heroic characters in DC's history, but the modern El Diablo is first seen accidentally killing the entire innocent family of a rival gang member. He seeks redemption by joining the squad and frequently voices his objections to any senseless killing. During his very first outing with the squad, the team has to contain a stadium full of humans infected with a robo-virus that kinda turns them into zombies. When El Diablo and Deadshot are attacked by a pregnant woman bot, Diablo is the one who protects her from being killed. She mutates into a crazy Jabba blob, King Shark bites her head off, and the team delivers a healthy baby by slicing it out of the monster's belly. The whole thing sets off a rivalry between Diablo and Deadshot. Katana. While most of these Suicide Squad members are part of Batman's Rogues Gallery, Katana actually worked alongside Batman in his team, the Outsiders. She still doesn't completely fit into the superhero model as she wields a sword that steals souls, and heroes generally like to leave souls in the bodies they came from. Katana's sword has a pretty special relationship with death, so the heroine was able to help stop the Black Lantern zombies' plans when they invaded Earth during the epic DC Comics event Blackest Night. So while carrying around a sword full of tortured souls is a pretty sucky superpower to have, it's not altogether useless. Corpse whispering is a pretty profitable backup plan if the whole hero thing doesn't work out. Just ask John Edward. Enchantress. If you go to a party at a creepy castle, don't wander around, or else you run the risk of being possessed by an ancient space witch. That's just common sense. Unfortunately, June Moon didn't get the memo. Now she plays host to a powerful evil that she can only sometimes control, causing her to unpredictably slip between hero and villain. After a while, the forces that gave Enchantress her powers went rotten, so she turned crazy and attacked Supergirl, earning her new villain status. Enchantress has been separated from and reunited with the dark soul that fuels her a few times, leaving her catatonic or tucked safely away in an asylum. So she's kinda damned either way. All of this makes her a pretty good candidate for the Suicide Squad. Captain Boomerang. Remember the time you brought your teddy bear to school and everyone laughed at you, so you decided to go home and become a teddy bear-themed supervillain? That's pretty much the origin story of Captain Boomerang, except with boomerangs. Digger Harkness is probably one of the worst humans alive in the DC universe. He's outwardly racist, he's cowardly, and he went on a pie-throwing rampage against his teammates that lasted a year and a half. Eventually, everyone got so tired of him that he was dropped on a deserted island until the squad needed him again. When he was picked up, he'd grown a wicked beard and was trying to build a giant boomerang to fly himself home, because not only is he a jerk, but he's pretty stupid too. His first mission back? Dressing up like Batman to distract some bad guys because Captain Boomerang's best power is being a human target. Killer Croc. Waylon Jones has more origin stories than teeth, and that's a lot for a man-eating crocodile person. Whether his condition was caused by a skin disease, a gypsy curse, bad steroids, or genetic experiments gone wrong, Croc is now a guy who is super strong, super dumb, and hungry for living meat.
When Batman came nosing around, he was getting closer, closer.
And?
I threw a rock at him.
Croc actually has a special relationship with DC weirdo Swamp Thing. At one point, Swamp Thing lures Croc into breaking out of Arkham, causing Batman to pursue him all the way to Louisiana. After a battle through the muck, Swamp Thing subdues Batman with a puff of psychotropic pollen, convincing Batman to let the animalistic Croc finally find peace and solitude in the swamps, at least for a little while. Slipknot. Years before the metal band of the same name made its debut, Slipknot was a forgettable villain. The bad guy is first seen attacking DC hero Firestorm, using a gimmick even worse than Captain Boomerang's boomerangs: ropes. Sure, they're durable ropes, but they're still ropes. And even though DC Comics already had its ultimate durable rope in Wonder Woman's lasso of truth, they still needed more ropes. And that's Slipknot. Slipknot's worst moment comes at the hands of Boomerang. In order to keep the Suicide Squad in check, each member is fitted with explosive wristbands that can't go beyond a certain range or they'll explode. Boomerang isn't keen on using himself to test whether or not these explosive devices are real, so he convinces Slipknot that they're fake. Slipknot takes the first opportunity to escape, only to have his arm blown off by a very real explosive wrist bomb, which makes it pretty hard to tie Slipknots for a while. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch more videos like the one you just saw. And leave us a comment to let us know your favorite Suicide Squad member.